Let's attempt to find derivatives of each of these functions. First one, f of x is x plus 1 times x squared plus 7. There are many ways of finding the derivative of this. The first way would be to actually multiply this out, FOIL it, or you can multiply each of the terms associated with each of the term in the other parenthesis, and then you can add all the terms up, and then you can take the derivative of each of the terms. But in this case, since I've just introduced you to the product rule, we're going to attempt to make use of it. The product rule states that derivative of the one function times the second function, as in our case. The derivative of the entire thing is going to be the derivative of the first one times the second function plus first function times derivative of the second function. In this case, x plus 1 is the first function and x squared plus 7 is the second one. Let's try to find f prime of x. Well, following this, the derivative of the first function, derivative of x plus 1, is going to be 1. Derivative of x, then you're going to multiply by the second function, which is x squared plus 7, put plus the first function, x plus 1, then multiply by the derivative of the second function, which comes out to be 2x. And then I guess you can simplify this. Multiplying by 1 is same thing as just thing itself. So x squared plus 7, and then you can distribute the 2x. X squared plus 7 plus 2x squared plus 2x. You can combine x squared, 3x squared plus 2x plus 7. Let's look at b. F of x is 9 times cosine of x times sine of x. In this case, we can let 9 times cosine of x be 1 and sine of x be 2. You can put 9 with sine of x. You can say cosine of x is the first one, 9 times sine of x is the second function, but in our case, for simplicity, let's say 9 times cosine of x is the first function. And what's going to be f prime of x? It's going to be derivative of the first function, which is derivative of cosine is negative sine. So you're going to have negative 9 times sine of x times second function, which is sine of x, plus the first function, 9 times cosine of x, times derivative of the second sine of x, which is cosine of x. Sine x times sine x times sine x comes out to be sine squared of x. Cosine of x times cosine of x comes out to be cosine squared of x. I guess you can factor the 9 out if you want to, but that's how I'm going to leave it. Let's look at c. F of x is x to the 9th power minus, that looks complex, square root of x times x plus 1. Let this be first function and let this be second function, and we can apply the product rule in this case. But let's start by taking the derivative of x to the 9th power, which is you bring the 9 down, you subtract 1 from the 9 in the exponent, 9x to the 8th power, minus the derivative of the first function. Remember, square root of x is same thing as x to the 1/2 power. So if you take the derivative, this 1/2 is going to come down, and you're going to subtract 1 from the exponent, making it negative 1/2, times the second function plus the first function times the derivative of the second function, which in this case is 1, because derivative of x is 1, derivative of constant is 0. So how can you simplify this? Well, you got 9x to the 8th power minus, well, x to the negative 1/2 power can go down, so you can have x plus 1, and 2 times square root of x, or x to the 1/2 power, then you can add plus square root of x.